welcome back to another video that we've been shooting here at the CMON Expo at 2018 here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here with Eric Lang, so thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Now, what I thought we would do with this interview, I know you've probably been talking about games and
occasionally
telling people about new stuff and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to do something a little bit different, if that's okay.
We're talking about old stuff?
Yeah, some old stuff, some new stuff. We'll mix it up a little bit. All right, so, my favorite game is Blood Rage, your design, and came out, what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yes.
Somewhere
something like that.
Something like that. I know
I don't even know.
You've been working with it for much longer than that, but
for me, it's a 2012 game.
2012 game, yeah. That's probably 2 years of design and all
endless iteration.
Yes. Yep. Well, now at that point, you were a freelance designer. Mm-hmm. Is that pretty much the proper title? But now you are pretty much not freelance designer.
I'm the other thing.
You're the other thing.
Yep.
So you're just following your games, is that what
That's right. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So now I'm a full-time employee of CMON. I'm the game director of CMON, doing CMON stuff in CMON ways.
Yeah, that's cool. So back then, when you had Blood Rage in the pipe, ready to be launched, all that kind of stuff, did you have any idea that you would be here 3 years later?
Nope.
Nope?
Nope, not even a little.
What kind of plans did you have when Blood Rage was launching?
I was going to eat a pizza at the Big Slice in Toronto, and then I was going to go on vacation in Aruba.
Okay, so pizza and Aruba.
Yes.
That was it?
That was the extent of my strategic planning. I mean, so I've been very blessed in my life that I get to do what I like, what I love for so long.
Right.
That I don't have a game plan, right? Other than, keep my finances stable, take care of my family. Yeah. That besides the obvious stuff, I'm going to keep doing the things I love until I don't love it anymore. And my love for gaming has only increased, not decreased. So I didn't see a reason to change trajectory.
Right.
Now, that did change. Now, when I saw this opportunity to be more involved in every aspect of the games that I work on, that's where this came.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that door open for you? What were some of the things that you can talk about during that process? I'm sure that you and David Preddy are pretty good friends.
That's right.
Without the business relationship, right? So
right.
So how did all that kind of come together?
Well, so I've been working with CMON for the last.
That'll work. We'll cut it. No worries.
Or keep it. It's candid. I've been working with CMON.
You go under the lid. There you go.
Oh my goodness. We're play testing this.
Yes, we are.
Good. I've been working with CMON for the last 5 years, at least 5 years, since Chaos Ball.
Okay.
And I was friends with David Preddy, who's the creative director. And I've actually gotten to know the other guys quite extensively in that period. And so I got to a point where I was just doing so much of my work with CMON. I was getting so deeply involved with the dev team and even with the production team that I kind of felt like a de facto employee anyway.
Okay.
So a couple of years ago, I hit a point where I realized, wow, I've designed almost every license that I want to do on my bucket list. I've designed most of the game concepts that I really want to see to fruition. I have a few more ideas, but they're all big. They're all huge.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to make a bunch of games. I wanted to make very few games and just take longer to do all of them. Now, doing that also made me realize I want to have a little bit more involvement in every aspect of it, right?
Gotcha.
From design to graphics to production to all that stuff. So we started, we were talking, we were always sort of joking, like, you should just come work for us. And then the CMON just grew really quickly, and I realized they have the resources.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we just make it official?
Yeah.
So it almost wasn't even like a standard interview process. We just said, like, time to do it.
Yeah.
Time to do it.
Yeah. So it's like one time it was like, no, you should really come work. No, seriously, you just need to come and work with us.
Right. I mean, it was almost like a mutual head shake. Like,
okay,
let's do this thing.
All right, cool. That's very organic, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
very
very much
natural.
so. Very much
That's
so.
cool. All right, so now with Blood Rage being so popular, and I mean, it blew up. It's one of my favorite games, and there's a lot of people out there that will play it and love it and like it. There's a lot of people that don't like it, so they're wrong. It's okay. But you've got some new things coming out. You've got Victorian Masterminds coming this year. So
That's right.
You've got some other things in the pipe that we can't talk about, and with some pretty cool people. So we won't go that route.
Sadly, cannot.
Yeah, can't go that way. But it's pretty cool. You'll like it when you see it. But I wanted to go pre Blood Rage back to the first game of yours that I think that I played, and that was Midgard.
Back to 2005.
Yeah. I mean, it's 13 years back. It doesn't seem like
we're
that.
old.
I know, right?
13 years.
So now I got Tom's copy. I don't have it anymore. I don't even know what happened when we moved back from Korea. I don't know what happened to it after that. But I got his copy because he was done with the game. I don't know that he actually used the word broken, but he definitely thought that
I remember that he didn't like it. Yeah.
He just didn't like it. And so what can you talk about the because people say basically Midgard is the precursor to Blood Rage.
Right.
So talk about that a little bit.
It kind of is. I mean, so I've always loved Viking mythology. Like I'm sure that is like the least secret thing out there. But I was working with Z-Man Games back when Zev was running it, and I had talked to him about, like, I want to do this sort of auteur project where I control every aspect from the production to the development and everything.
Right.
And I want to do this Viking game, and I don't want to answer to anybody. I just want to do this game that I want to do.
Okay.
And he was like, sure, let's do it. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I did this game.
Trust.
It's a lot of trust and a lot of responsibility. And at the time, I wish I hadn't done that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So what happened was, so I made this game, and really what this game was, it was a Euro game. It was a sort of 90s style Euro game with high interaction, lots of conflict, which I love.
Yeah.
In the style of like some like Wolfgang Kramer's old classic El Grande, right? That's one of my favorite games of all time.
Right.
Big influence on me. So I wanted to do a game that was that with card drafting, and why do you draft cards? Because you're drafting powers in order to go pillage stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's a very streamlined game. It's very chaotic, and it has a lot of over-the-table player interaction,
right?
Which is a style of game that not everybody likes, but I love.
Yeah.
So now I commissioned a cover for it, which was this. I want this Ridley Scott Viking posing before the fires of Ragnarok, done by John Gravato, who's my favorite artist. And that cover is amazing, but has nothing to do with the game that's inside the box.
Right.
Right. It has little meeples and Euro style art. So the disconnect between that cover and the game was astounding, and it was it hurt sales badly. Like the game didn't do that well.
Right.
I know a lot of people who play it, and they said they like it. I'm still proud of it, but had I to do it over again, I would have actually made it with a frowny face Viking on the cover, like with some boats in the background, and I would have made it look more like the Euro game that it is.
Right.
Blood Rage came from the idea that, like, I kept looking at that cover, right? I'm like, I want to make that game. I want to make the game that cover promises.
Right.
And that was the starting point, and Blood Rage came from there.
Okay.
What I did was I basically tried to forget everything I knew about Midgard and just rebuilt from scratch what a Viking game about pillaging looks like. So that's where that came from. Now, of course, I mean, I am who I am, and my style is my style, so there's the similarities still crept through. And of course, I was so much in love with card drafting that had to stay, right? Yeah. Other than that, it's basically, it is a different, more thematic, more confrontational brawl fest.
Yeah, it's in your face, in your face more than Midgard was. Yeah, that's great. Now, as we've been talking about these different processes, you've been talking about having, putting out fewer games and having more, taking longer with them. And it seems like you have brought that philosophy to your work here at CMON. Can you talk about the relationship that you have with your development team and
sure.
and how you guys work together?
Yeah, absolutely. So so I'm the game director at CMON. That's my official title.
Right.
And I manage a team of 7 very, very talented, very spirited developers that work in Brazil.
Yeah.
And together we develop games that are from outside designers, and we also develop games internally. And so, I mean, we've been working together so long already, for 5 years, that most of them have been developers on titles of my own, that this, I mean, I can't even think of a transitional period where it's like, well, now I'm their boss, but like we're still kind of this little development family, which I enjoy. Now, I brought some of my dream, right? My dream for a creative game company to take the time and work on passion projects only, because I really feel like the market is open to that, right?
Yeah.
Like we should more target ourselves as gamers, right? Rather than try to anticipate a demographic. Like let's make games that we love and hope the market agrees with us.
Yeah.
And so far the market's agreed with us pretty strongly. So while it works, we're going to keep doing that.
Right.
So part of that is all of us, we're super picky and we're super grumpy, and we hate all our games until they're done.
Yeah.
So I mean, you think we're brutal on other people's games? We're way worse on our own
Really?
stuff. So much worse.
Yeah.
Where to the point, like I'm working on a game right now, a big box game that's coming out next year. I hate it. I hate everything about it, but I'm really excited about where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Right. I just hate it because it's not perfect yet.
Right.
Anyway, that's how we work. So we're going to be developing far fewer games than we did in the past, which was strategically right for us then, not necessarily for us now. We're going to be doing more concentrated efforts on big box games. For example, we're working on, I have a plan for all the way up to the end of 2019, early 2020 for what all our big box games are going to look like.
Cool.
And I have people working on them already.
That's great.
So it's just taking longer, being more, something I've talked about a little bit, but making sure that we have periods of absence on every game. So we'll work on a game, leave it alone for a few months, come back to it, leave it alone for a few months, work on something else.
Yeah. So how many transition phases, I guess you could say, or iterations do you usually have a game go through on average before you guys kind of agree that this is what it's supposed to be? Yeah.
I mean, well, okay, when we agree that it's ready to go is when the deadline hits, right? Like,
okay.
So we give ourselves a deadline. I mean, when we say we, I mean I give us a deadline, and we are a publicly traded company, so of course we have to release games, right? We can't just work on them forever.
Right.
But I give us a deadline, because games are never finished, and there is a period, right? There is a crest where you just change stuff to change stuff, right?
Yeah.
The game is as good as it's ever going to be.
It's not going to get any better. Right?
It's not going to get any objectively better. So now we're just messing with stuff.
Right.
So and it gets stale, right? We start getting sick of it, and we just start changing stuff mostly to amuse ourselves, right? I'm like, this game's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's doing it very well. Let's release it.
Okay.
So, but we still tinker with it until the last minute, right?
Yeah.
We're super fussy on graphics, on presentation, on like every little OCD element of the game. That, I'm sorry, I forgot your question.
No, this is the different iterations that the game goes through. I mean, you might have a game that goes through just one iteration. I mean, we were talking about Gizmos the other day, and
Right.
I know that's kind of an out-of-house, as opposed to you and your development team coming up with a game on your own.
Right.
Phil Walker Harding has brought that in. So how much did you guys mess with that before you said, okay, it's ready?
So good. That's a great example. So I love Phil. I'm a huge fan of him, and I'm super proud and happy to publish his game. I'm sort of chasing him for a bit. So I signed. That was actually the very first game I signed for CMON. I think I signed it like 3 days into my in my job. Yeah, I was at a gathering of friends.
Okay.
I ran to Phil. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my time, and I love this. Right. We're signing it, right? Because it's Phil. Like, his games are in high demand, so I had to sign it before somebody else took it.
Gotcha.
I loved the game, and I don't know how many iterations he did, but when we got it, we haven't changed the game fundamentally at all. But we did mess with it a lot, but we worked with him. So we changed the form factor a little bit. His was a little bit it was slightly simpler. We added about 5% complexity, but the reason we did that was because that paid off in a huge amount of not only replayability, but also a little bit more strategic and tactical play. This old game was a little bit more tactical, and so we have a game now that we all love.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the mission statements for CMON is I want to make sure that the games are fun to touch and feel, and have good table presence, but in a practical way.
Yeah.
Right. So not just gimmicky. Right. So we did add some. We put some engineering into the game to dispense the energy bulb, because the way the game plays is you have a bunch of little gizmos on the table, and your energy should be focused on your tableau, right there, rather than trying to sort through a hand of cards and shuffling that. So that just made that part of the game easier. It actually took off 15 minutes of playtime.
Oh, cool.
So in that case, it was practical and looked good.
Yeah, but I imagine that experience is probably vastly different than creating a game in-house.
Yes, absolutely.
And just like pouring over it, and then do you ever get to a point where you're just like, done, and then that game just goes away forever?
Oh yeah. Like 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, really?
My own, right?
Of your own.
Of my own games. So back in the day when I was working on my own stuff, I mean, I'd come up with game concepts all the time, and very often I would prototype a game just to throw it away. Right, like I got this idea. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm like, let's get it to the table, because I know it's not going to work, but let's figure out if there's any potential.
Gotcha.
And often the question I ask myself, I build a prototype, I play it, and I'm like, it's never fun the first time, right? It's fun. Oh, sorry, sometimes it's fun, but it's got problems and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
But generally, the question I ask myself is, all right, what's the best this game is going to be after we fix all the issues?
Yeah.
If the best it's going to be is pretty good, then I'm like, I don't care.
Don't worry about it.
Unless I get obsessed with it, right? If I wake up thinking about it or obsessed with it, that's fine.
Yeah.
I never write anything down. I don't keep any notes. I don't advise that for everybody, but that's just how I work. I never keep any notes. For me personally, if I'm obsessed with the game, I will remember every detail of every iteration. So that's just a personal test for myself.
Your mind works better than me.
Well, it's only because I am what's the technical term? Crazy.
Crazy. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy today, and I really do appreciate everything. So just final question here. What do you see in the near future for Eric Lang?
Well,
that's interesting.
Wow, that was
darkness.
Was that a metaphor or what?
Oh, here we go. All right.
Oh, please keep that.
I'm going to keep that in there. All right.
Wow.
So, all metaphysical things that may have just happened in the past.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, so maybe ask again.
Okay, yeah, here we go. So, what do you see for Eric Lang in the near future?
I'm thinking jerk chicken with rice and island vacation in Pulau Redang.
Yeah. Okay. So no business plans, just chilling.
So of course business. So now my plans are all about what CMON is, right? I'm in charge of the planning of the catalog of what games we do, curating that, and arranging them strategically. That is amazingly fulfilling. Like that's what I took this job for. I wanted to be the mad scientist in a lab to make the thing, right?
Right.
But I can't talk about any of that. So
understood.
Jerk chicken vacation.
Jerk chicken and vacation. All right. Well, that seems like a good way to end. So we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thanks again, Eric.
Thanks, Sam.
We certainly appreciate your time. And thank you guys for your time, for stopping by and taking a watch. We'll see you later on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.